Welcome back, dear students. In this video, I am going to discuss answers for important questions of Module 1 of the subject Introduction to Python Programming. Dear students, the Module 1 covers Python basics, flow control and functions. Here I have covered answers for about 20 questions. If I am going to discuss all the answers in detail, it will going to take more time. If at all you want to understand the concept covered in this module, I have listed up videos which will going to cover module 1 in a description of this video. Just go through the description and whichever the concept you want to understand, go through that particular video. Basically in this video, I am going to concentrate on how to write answers for a given question. One or two answers I am going to discuss in detail and later I will just go through the remaining questions. Here if you see, the first question is demonstrate with example print, input and string replication is being asked for 6 marks. Basically dear students, whenever you read the question, concentrate on number of marks given to it. If at all you are writing exam for 3 hours, you will get about 180 minutes to write the exam. With respect to that, to write a 10 marks question, you should not take more than 18 minutes. You should finish within 15 to 18 minutes. Some of the questions even will take lesser time than whatever I have mentioned. But remember, when you are writing answers, you should also concentrate on the time. Because if at all you are attempting 100 marks question and if you are unnecessarily wasting a time on a particular question, then later you will get a shortage of time for remaining questions. So before you attempt a main exam, have a practice of writing a given question within a stipulated time. Like say for example here, this particular question has been asked for 6 marks, you should not take more than 10 to 11 minutes to write the answer. And how much answer you are supposed to write? If you see here, demonstrate with example print, input and string replication. You are supposed to explain two functions print and input and one more string replication operation. 6 marks, 3 different concepts are there. For every concept you will get 2 marks. You should explain what that function is or operation is and give one example. For explanation you will get 1 marks and for example you will get 1 marks. If you see here print, the print in Python is a built-in function that is used to display information or output text to the console or output screen. The print function takes the string argument and displays it on the screen. For example, print hello world, within double quote whatever it's been written, that will be displayed on output screen, like say hello world. Print function can also be used to display values stored in variables as shown below. Like num is equal to 100 is an integer variable, name is equal to bkgudur is a string variable. If you write print num, here you have written a name of a variable, you will get the value stored within it, say which is 100, and here print name, which is a name is a string variable and the value stored in that is bkgudur. For understanding the concept, you refer to the videos which I have listed in a description of this particular video. Next one is input function. The input is built-in function that is used to read user input from the keyboard. When we call input, the program will pause and wait for the user to enter some text. Once the user enters a text and presses enter key, the input function reads the input as a string and returns it as a result. Try to concentrate dear students. Initially I have explained about that function. Here also I have explained about the function and later I have given examples. Here say example, if you see name is equal to input, enter your name, print, 3 strings are concatenated. So you run this program, enter your name. Once you enter bkgudur, you will get hello bkgudur. Hello bkgudur and exclamation mark has been concatenated. Third one is string replication. We can replicate a string by using a asterisk operator. For example, VTU asterisk 4, VTU is a string into 4, VTU is replicated 4 times. In above example, the asterisk operator is used to replicate string VTU 4 times. The two operands of the above operation can be interchanged, which results in same answer as shown below. Whether you write VTU into 4 or 4 into VTU, you will get the same answer. The second question is, develop a Python program to generate Fibonacci sequence of length n. Read n from the console. Once again, it's been asked for 6 marks. Here, dear students, whenever program is asked, you are supposed to concentrate on two things. First and foremost, whenever program is asked, you write the program with comments, and for every program asked, you don't forget to write the output, because for every program you should write the expected output of that program, and wherever applicable you also write the comments. Like here, say this is a comment, Python program to generate Fibonacci sequence of length n, and initially you are going to read a sequence of length n. Dear students, I am not going to explain the program here. These programs have been explained in a video playlist that's been given in a description of this video. You just go and refer to that. Basically here I am concentrating on how to answer. Whenever any programming question is asked, you first write the program with comments and don't forget to write the output. In Python, indentation plays a very important role. While writing your program, concentrate on indentation. Like here, all these lines are one below the other. If you see here, if n is less than or equal to 0, this particular statement, print statement, is a part of if condition. It should be written with a proper indentation. Similarly, if you see here, all these statements are part of a for loop. How much space you are leaving here, even that much space you should leave here. I hope this already you know how to write a program with proper indentation. While writing the answer, you concentrate on indentation part also. Next, the third question is, explain if, elif and else statements in Python with examples for each. Once again, it's been asked for 6 marks. Here, dear students, when these statements, when conditional statements or looping statements are asked in program, try to concentrate on number of marks. In this case, 3 different conditions supposed to explain, and it's been asked for 6 marks. Here, drawing a flow diagram is not mandatory. You may skip it. I have drawn a flow diagram or a flow chart, but when it's been asked for 6 marks, means 2 marks for each condition, what we expect here is explanation of that condition and later the syntax and one example. This syntax will be a part of that explanation only. Later you should give one example, because here it's been given with examples for each. So 2 marks will be given, 2 marks for if, 2 marks for elif and 2 marks for else statement. But the same thing, if it is asked for 8 or 9 marks, then you are supposed to draw the block diagram. And in some of the questions explicitly he is going to ask the block diagram, then there is no other way, you should draw the block diagram also. Like here, say initially I have explained what if statement is. If statement will start with this. If statement. The if statement is used to conditionally execute a block of code if a given condition is true. If the condition is false, the code block is skipped. You are telling what if condition is. Later syntax, say if expression, then colon, statements of if block. Say all are indented here. Look at this, space has been given. Then you write about the syntax. In Python, an if statement consists of the following: the if keyword, a condition, that is an expression that evaluates to true or false, and a colon. Later, starting on the next line, indented block of code, we also called it as if clause. Indented statement. You may have one statement or group of statements within this condition. And if flow diagram is required, you write a flow diagram as per the number of marks or a question, and but don't forget to give example. Here one example, age is equal to 65. If age is greater than or equal to 60, print you are senior citizen. In this example, if statement checks whether age is greater than 60, greater than or equal to 60. If it is true, the message is printed. If it is false, then it is skipped, it will not be printed. Similarly, elif statement, same thing. Say initially what elif statement is and where it will be used, and if it's been asked and require, you draw the flow chart and later the syntax and example. When you give an example, if you have a time, little bit about that example you explain. And else statement, same thing. Here what else statement is there and its syntax, flow chart, then later example and one or two sentence about that example. Next is explain while, for, break and continue statements in Python with examples for each. If you see here, there are 4 different concepts. It's been asked while, for, break and continue. 8 marks have been given. So obviously for each of these concepts you will get 2 marks. So here also the block diagram is not important because of 1 marks for explanation and 1 marks for example. But if it is explicitly asked, then you are supposed to write the diagram. In some of the cases, he will ask, say for example, break and continue statement only for 6 marks or 8 marks, or while and for loops only for 6 marks or 8 marks. Then you are supposed to draw the diagram also. So here what while loop is, then its flow chart, then syntax. After writing the syntax, the explanation of that syntax and one example. If this flow chart is asked explicitly, you write it. Otherwise it takes more than 3 marks or 3 or more marks, then you are supposed to write. If it's been asked only for 2 marks, then skip the flow chart or flow diagram. For loop, same thing. What for loop is, it's a flow chart, then syntax, and after syntax example, and try to explain what that example, how that example is executed in 1 or 2 sentences. Similarly here, if you see the break statement, what break statement is, then syntax of that and example. Whenever you write example, you also mention the output, either explicitly write like this or you write in an explanation. Similarly, continue statement, it's a syntax, example, and then little bit about that example. Okay, so this is a 8 marks question. 4 statements have been asked, while, for, break and continue, 2 marks for each. And the next question is, what are user defined functions? How can we pass parameters in user defined functions? Explain with a suitable example, for 5 marks. Look at, dear students, what are user defined functions is one part. How can we pass parameters in user defined functions, and explain with a suitable example. So basically for defining a function you will get 1 mark, and how can we pass parameters, for that 2 marks, and for explanation with a suitable example you will get 2 marks. So totally 5 marks. So here what user defined function is, that's been discussed. Later, how can we pass parameter to a user defined function with its syntax, and later one example and output of that, and here say little bit about that example. Explain local and global scope with variables for each. It's been asked for 8 marks. For local scope you will get 4 marks, and for global scope you will get 4 marks. Just go through it. Local scope, what it is, example, then explanation of that example, then global scope, explanation of global scope, example and explanation of that example, and important points between local and global scope. So just go through it. There are 4 points. Some of the time these points are asked explicitly. Next, develop a program to read name and year of birth of a person, print whether the person is senior citizen or not. This particular program I have discussed in detail. You just go through the playlist of the video given in description of this video. This is asked for 7 marks. Once again, as I have told earlier, you should write the program with comments wherever necessary, and don't forget to write output. In this case, I have written two output, one to tell a person is not senior citizen and another to tell a person is senior citizen. Okay, minimum you write one output, but in such cases better to include different cases which occur in a program. Then with Python programming examples to each, explain the syntax and control flow diagrams of break and continue statements. Look at, dear students, earlier I was telling sometimes he will ask flow diagrams explicitly. In this case, remember, he has asked only break and continue statements for 8 marks. But explicitly he has asked to explain with syntax and control flow diagrams. Okay, if you see here, this what break statement is there, its explanation, and flow diagram, later syntax and example for 4 marks. And similarly, continue statement, if you see here, explanation of what continue statement, its block diagram, syntax, example for 4 marks, totally 8 marks. Explain 2 ways of importing modules into application in Python with the syntax and suitable programming examples for 6 marks. For 2 ways of importing modules, you will get 3 marks for each. One method of importing is importing entire module. For 3 marks you are going to write this, say 1 marks for this, 1 marks for syntax and another 1 marks for example with output. Similarly here, 1 mark for explanation, 1 marks for syntax and 1 more marks for example with output. Now write a function to calculate factorial of a number. Develop a program to compute binomial coefficient given n and r. You can just go through the playlist to understand how to write this program, but what you should concentrate is, whenever a program is asked, write the program with comments wherever it is required. Later, don't forget to write the output. If it is 6 marks, for output 1 or 2 marks. Even sometimes for comment also, in a scheme it will be mentioned. If comments are written, relevant comments are written in place, then 1 or 2 marks. So better write the program with relevant comments wherever necessary. Even the evaluator is going to understand your program based on your comments. It will be very easier for him to just go through the comments and understand what you have written. So don't forget to write the comments wherever it's necessary. Once again, one more program is asked. Just go through the program here. It's been asked for 6 marks. Same thing, but here one function is there. You are supposed to write one function and later the driving code of that. In this case, like say for example, a function will take around 2 marks and the main code will take around 4 marks, 6 marks will be given, and here the expected output. The next is, look at this, explain 4 scope rules of variables in Python. Say 1, 2, 3, 4 scope rules are there and you will get 4 marks. Very simple. What is an arithmetic expression? What is output of this statement? Hello world plus 100 plus how are you? Explain the reason if the statement produces an error. First and foremost, dear students, it's been asked for 6 marks, 2 marks to tell what is an arithmetic expression and 2 marks to tell what output you will get for this statement and explain the reason for what reason it will produce error. 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, so 6 marks. What an arithmetic expression is there? For that you will get 2 marks. And now analyze the given expression and tell whether it has got error or not. If you analyze this statement, because you are concatenating string with integer, it is going to produce a type error because integer and string cannot be concatenated. Just tell about the error in this, and later if at all you want to correct it, integer should be converted to string using str function. The output of the correct statement you just write in explanation. So for 6 marks you are going to write this. Very simple. Just go through it. Discuss various methods of importing modules in Python programs. Which method is best? Explain. Look at, dear students, it's been asked for 6 marks. Various methods. Here basically I have discussed 4 methods, and even I have told which is the best method. If you look at first one, look at here, there are 4 methods of importing module. First one is basic import method, where we are going to write import and then module name. This method is used to import entire module. It is the simplest and most common way to bring in the functionality of a module. This method is appropriate when we want to use most or all of the module's functions. So the second method. The advantage of this method also I have written. Similarly, third one example and fourth one example. In summary, the best method for importing module in Python is typically using the basic import, that is import module name method. However, the choice of the method may vary depending on the specific coding needs and style. 15th one, what is lambda function? Explain with an example of addition of two numbers. What a lambda function is, just go through it. It's very simple. Then syntax, then one example, explanation of that example. It's been asked for 7 marks. For explanation 2 marks. For syntax you will get 1 mark, and example and the explanation you will get 4 marks. 7 marks. Write Python program to add n numbers accepted from the user. It's been asked for 7 marks. So very simple program is there. Just go through it. Don't forget to write comments. Output also you should write. For 7 marks, very simple. What is the need of a role of a precedence? Illustrate rules of precedence in Python with example. It's been asked for 6 marks. What is the need? If you tell, you will get 2 marks, and remaining you will get 4 marks. What is the need for role of precedence? For 2 marks it's been discussed, and later for 4 marks you just go through it. Few examples to demonstrate the rules. It's been asked for 6 marks. Go through it. What are functions? Explain Python function with parameter and return statement. Say it's for 7 marks. To tell what are functions, you will get 2 marks, and explanation of Python function with parameter and return statement you will get 5 marks. If you explain what a function is, you will get 2 marks. Later syntax of function with parameter and return statement, and later explanation each and every parameter in a function, explain it and give one simple example, you will get remaining 5 marks. Define exception handling. How exceptions are handled in Python? Write a program to solve divide by 0 exception. This question is been asked for 7 marks. Dear students, if you write what exception is, you will get 1 mark. How exceptions are handled in Python, you will get 2 marks, and write a program to solve divide by 0 exception, you will get 4 marks. So 1 plus 2 plus 4, you will get 7 marks. Just go through this. What is exception handling? It's been written here, and later how exceptions are handled in Python. For that purpose there is a try and except block. Just go through it. A simple example for whatever he has given. So he has told us to write a program to solve a divide by 0 exception. So this is a program to solve a divide by 0 exception, and explanation of that program. Just go through it. The 20th question is, develop a Python program to calculate area of rectangle and triangle, print the result. Here 2 functions are there, one to calculate rectangle area and another to calculate triangle area. It's been asked for 7 marks, 2 marks for this function, 2 marks for this function, and 3 marks for the main code along with the output. These are about answers for 20 questions. Hope this is clear to all of you, how to write answers. Hope this is clear to all of you, dear students. Thank you. Thank you for watching.